Yo, what's good, y'all? Man, again, sorry so much for the wait. I just had a bunch of gigs. I recently joined the great drummer from from Detroit originally, now based in the Twin Cities, Kevin Washington, and I've had a lot of work to do with his music and a few others. So I've just been swamped. Really excited to get ready for the tour coming up at the end of September, going to the beginning of October. It'll be a lot of fun. We're doing Minneapolis at Ice House, Milwaukee, Madison at I think North Street Cabaret, and then we're doing where are we at? After Madison, we're going to Milwaukee. We're going to be in Milwaukee. We're going to be at Boone and Crockett, and then we're going to be at the Hungry Brain in Chicago. So yeah, really just looking forward to that. And just been shedding as much as I can in the in between. I would have had this video sooner, but I did make it, and then just there was some technical stuff. Some stuff somehow got into whatever. It just got all messed up. So. Depending on how good my editing skills and all that are, you should be seeing some of the study materials, scrolling by the screen right now. So what's really important with these chords is to think about them two ways, which are listed. First way I like to think about them is literally as they are, the polychords that they are, which is literally how they're voiced. For example, the first one is G7 over B over an F major 7. The next one is C6 over G7. These are all in the key of C major, by the way. These are just encompassing all the polychords in the key of C major, diatonic polychords in the key of C major. And, it's really not all of them. I'm sure on other instruments you could come up with lots of other diatonic polychords. But these are ones that are voiced arpeggio-wise on guitar that just really just captured the sound of that mode in an arpeggio. And they also, when it comes to making lines, that give you really cool target notes to hit. For example, just that first one, the G7 over B over F major 7 or F Lydian. While I'm playing lines, I might be like. It gives me all sorts of targets with inside of the larger mode, or this larger scale shape, vertical scale shape to hit. And what's cool about voicings like this, timbre-wise, especially once you combine these with some of these shapes, and you see how they link up with some of what piano and guitar players like to call shell voicings, where you just voice the root 3, 5, and 7 of a chord. It gives you all, you got 11 right here, 13, and 9 right there. And when it comes to running those kind of lines like that, as well as having those targets there, you can target those targets with your surround note exercises and everything else. And when you actually hit the 11, 13, and 9 in those areas that they're in, they're actually going to sound a lot more like an 11, 13, or 9 versus hitting them down in the lower octave. So kind of like a piano player where they actually play the 13 and the 9, where the 13 and the 9 and the 11 and all those things go. This is really actually putting the 11, 13 where they go. Not necessarily the 9. I mean, but it's also a place where you can put the 9, just an octave higher 9. Yeah. So let's just go over that first one quick. So that first one, we're going to start with our first finger on the first fret, and then we're going to hammer on our 4th finger onto the 5th fret, and then we're going to sweep down, 2nd finger on that 3rd fret, 1st finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd finger for that 4th fret, 3rd finger on that 3rd fret, 1st finger on that 1st fret, and then we're going to hammer on with our 2 onto the 3rd fret, pull off, back up, the same way we came down. So, hammer on, pull off, so the notes in order would be F, A, C, E, B, D, F, G, F, D, B, E, C, A, F. Okay, and that's G7 over B over an F major 7, which is going to give you an F Lydian sound. Cool, so let's look at that next one. The next one is a C6 over a G7, which is going to give you a G Mixolydian sound. So let's check out that second one. That second one is C6 over G7, which is going to give you a G Mixolydian sound. The way that we're going to do this here is I'm going to start with my first finger on the 3rd fret, going to hammer on the 5th fret, hammer on the 7th fret, 2nd finger goes to the 5th fret, 1st finger to the 3rd, and then I'm going to take my 3rd finger to the 5th fret this time, roll my 3rd finger on that 5th fret, 1st finger to the 3rd, hammer on with my 3 on the 5th again, and then pull off and come back up the same way we went down. So we got a G, B, D, F, C, E, G, A, G, E, C, F, D, B, G. Cool. So yeah, again, 3, hammer on, sweep down, hammer on, pull off, sweep back up. Man, I'm saying it and doing it at the same time, a little hard. And then sweep back up, and again, pull off. Cool. So then the next one, which is gonna outline an Aeolian sound, is a D minor 6 over an A minor 7. So this one we're gonna start on the 5th fret. We're gonna go first finger on the 5th fret, hammer on our 8th fret with our 4, 3rd finger to 7, 1st finger to 5 again, 3rd finger to 7 again, 1st finger to 6, second finger to 6, my bad, and then 1st finger to the 5th fret again. And then we're going to hammer on that B with our 3rd finger on the 7th fret, pull off, come back up, same way we went down. Cool. So yeah, that's D minor 6 over A minor 7. Cool. And then the next one we got is a E minor flat 6 over a B minor 7 flat 5. And this is gonna give us a B Locrian sound. So we're gonna start on the 7th fret for this one, and we're gonna use our first finger, hammer on with our 4 onto the 10. Second finger goes to 8. Then we're gonna have our first finger go to 7. Then we're going to have our third finger go to that E on our 9th fret. Second finger to 8. First finger to 7. And then we're going to hammer on with our 2 on that 8. And that's 8th fret in that C note. So we're going to have, we're going to have B, D, F, A, E, G, B, C. And the reason why I put that flat 6 in parentheses is because otherwise I just want to make sure that it's known that it's an extension to the E minor and have it not be confused with an E minor 6, because the 6th is lowered. On both major 6 and minor 6 chords, if you are not familiar, it is always a major 6th interval that is added to the chord. So for example, if you're spelling a C6, it's C-E-G-A, and if it's a C minor 6, it's C-E flat G-A. That 6 is always a major 6th. So that's the reason why I put parentheses flat 6, to make sure we know that it's a flat 6, not. So in this case, if we're doing it in C, it would be C, E flat, G, A flat. In this case, it's E minor flat 6, so it's E, G, B, C. Awesome. So then let's go on to the next mode, which is F6 over C major 7, which is going to give us a C Ionian sound. And this one, we're going to be starting on our 8th fret. So we're going to go C, hammer on the E on the 12th or 4, second to 10, 1 now to 9, 2 to 10, roll to another 10, first finger on 8, hammer on 10 with our second, then come back the same way we went up. So there we go. That's the C Ionian sound, or F6 over C major 7. We got C, E, G, B, F, A, C, D, C, A, F, B, G, E, C. Cool. So then next one is going to be G6 over D minor 7, which is going to give us a D Dorian sound. So for this one, we're going to start on our 10th fret, and we're going to hammer on 13 with our 4. And then we're going to go to 12 with our 3, 10 with our 1, 12 with our 3 again, roll 12 with our 3, 10 with our 1, and then hammer on 12 with our 3, come back up. Cool. So yeah, that's G6 over D minor 7, giving you a D Dorian sound. We got D, F, A, C, G, B, D, E, D, B, G, C, A, F, D. Cool. Then we're going to have A minor flat 6 over an E minor 7, which is going to give us an E Phrygian sound. And this one we're going to start on the 12th fret, and we're going to go 12, hammer on 15, third finger goes to 14, first finger goes to 12, third finger goes to 14 again, second finger on 13, first finger on 12, hammer on 13 with our second, come back up the way we came. So we're going to have hammer on, we're going to have E, G, B, D, A, C, E, F, E, C, A, D, B, G, E. And then the last one is the same as the first one, G7 over B, over an F major 7, F Lydian sound, just octave higher. So we're going to have the first finger on 13, hammer on 17, second finger to 15, first finger to 14, third finger 16, second finger 15, first finger 13, hammer on 15, and then go ahead and go back up the way we came. Cool. So now let's talk about a little bit of right hand technique. Well, before we get into that right hand technique, so the way I've written them down, you see that I'm doing them in quintuplets, and in the way I did them in exercise, I did them all consecutively all the way up. I sometimes work on them descending as well. So one thing that's really important when practicing these, you don't have to do that whole exercise all at once, and you also don't have to do it in quintuplets. I put them in quintuplets to challenge myself and try to, keep a good sweeping, consistent sweeping quintuplet sound. So that's kind of why I decided to put it in quintuplets, and also because they perfectly fit in quintuplets over 3. So that's the other advantage to doing it this way. When you do them in other meters and sometimes in different subdivisions, they don't always fit perfectly in the measure. So yeah, what's really important with this is that you break it down. Okay, so don't feel like you have to do the whole exercise like I did in that video, like all at once. Just take that first one, like the F Lydian, and like learn that F Lydian shape in all 12 keys, and then learn the G Mixolydian shape in all 12 keys, or the and then learn the D minor 6 over A minor 7 or Aeolian shape in all 12 keys, or maybe just take those first 3 and work on combining them. And I'm not doing it with a metronome now for just the sake of making this video and getting this done kind of quick, so y'all have an idea of how to do this. But do it with a metronome against different subdivisions. You don't always have to do a quintuplet subdivision, and of course you can do it faster if you've worked up to the point where you can do quintuplets at a manageable tempo. But yeah, so just break it down. Take just sections of it. Take like one part, take just one of the arpeggios. Don't always feel like you have to do the whole thing. Now, right hand technique. All right. As some people have probably noticed, I use a slight bit of arm in my picking, which I know for a lot of people is like a huge no-go. And here's my thing. I do not pick from my arm. I don't sit here and go with my arm when I'm picking. Like the speed picking, that's all my wrist. Okay. See, to me, I don't feel like arm movement is bad unless it's your picking fulcrum, like the fulcrum that you're getting your tremolo picking and everything from. That's a problem. Arm movement isn't a problem if you realize that the arm is just bringing the pick, with the wrist moving fulcrum to where it needs to be, and it's slight. And you realize that the amount of arm movement you're doing to do that is literally the gap of these strings. It's literally this little bit right here, right? Just the amount of arm movement. Like, how much arm movement is that? Not much. And that's just a fact of bringing my pick to the strings. The actual wrist is the one doing the actual picking, like the constant moving. So with that being said, I have found that if you pick from the arm like that can be detrimental. There might be some people who do that and they're fine, and that's cool. That's fine. And I've also found that some people, well, basically all that's what's worked for me is picking from the wrist and doing what I do and bringing my pick, allowing for just a very slight amount of arm movement. I feel if I keep my arm too locked and I don't do whatever, then my pick angle is going to change depending on what string set I'm on. So allowing just that little bit of looseness in the arm allows me to keep the same pick angle per string. Now here's the thing when it comes to picking, just in general. It is such a personal thing. Don't just blindly buy into anyone's picking technique, even my own. Okay? Like, find what works for you. Take my suggestions, work with them, and if they don't work, search for something else. But stick with it for a while before you decide it doesn't work. Give it a few weeks to a month. And then if you're still having trouble or you haven't seen any improvement, then maybe make some adjustments. And sometimes it takes longer than that. Sometimes it takes up to years for a year or more for this stuff to really become part of your technique and part of your playing. But, to tie it all in, when it comes to this sweeping thing, if you move your arm a little bit to get, some of that circular stuff going, or just if it's not circular at all, whatever, that's fine. If it's just a little bit of arm movement and whatever. But you do want to have that wrist going in there too. I know when some people sweep pick, they love to do this circular picking thing. I do a little bit of that circular picking thing just naturally because earlier on I'd spent in my youth I'd spent some time working on that. But a lot of my sweep picking is really textural and a lot more like a horn, just quickly playing arpeggio. So a lot of my stuff ends up being like just real quick. Maybe just straight up and down, or just straight down and straight up. And fitting it in the middle of alternate pick lines. For me, for the most part, a lot of my sweep picking stuff tends to be like a more just straight on, almost like a strum, and I have and it's usually just like a quick. So as far as doing the circular thing, I'm not like maintaining bunches of sweeps usually, so I don't end up doing that. But yeah, so that's a little bit about your right hand. Find what works with you. Find what's comfortable. Differentiate for yourself if you are having pain, whether that pain is from the fact that you're working new muscles and you're getting new techniques, so you're just maybe a little sore from that, or whether it's pain because of bad technique. And that's something that you kind of have to determine for yourself, or honestly work with a teacher who knows who can look at your technique and give you some feedback. Cool. So now the last little thing I want to talk about that's really important from this, it should be going across the screen right now, is this little root 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, root 9, root 13, 11, 7, 5, 3 root thing going on. Because that's the way that these are voiced on the guitar. And I did it with the notes for the F6 over C major 7 or C Ionian mode sound, so that way you could easily transfer this. Because that's what you want to take from this. Because if you understand that what you're doing is going root 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, root, hammer on 9, root, 13, 11, 7, 5, 3, root. Then you can start changing these also to like different modes. You can use these modes for like the arpeggios of melodic minor. So it would be like C, E flat, G, B, F, A, C, D, B, G, E flat. So C flat, G, P, F, A, C, D, C, A, F, B, G, E flat, C. Again, root 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, root 9, root 13, 11, 7, 5, 7, 5, 3, root. That's the formula. And if you take that formula, you just plug in that formula, you just change the 3, 5, 7, 11, 13s, and 9s accordingly, and shift around the roots. And then you can start using this to get the sounds of, all sorts of different modes or polychords. Yeah, I hope that helped clarify some of this for y'all, and gives you some inspiration to work on some stuff and helps you add some interest to your diatonic lines, and it also gives you some cool arpeggios that are going to have a lot more color than just your normal triad or seventh arpeggios. So yeah, much love, y'all. And yeah, I look forward to seeing y'all around. Peace.